Ladies and gentlemen, the early access beta of Battlefield 6 is out today, and I've played it, so we're going to review it. Now, starting this game off, it felt great. It felt better than the last two games. I know in the past I've said some good things about 2042, especially when the beta came out, probably because I was expecting the game's problems at the time to be fixed on launch, and I thought we were seeing a fraction of the product we were going to receive. Little did little me know, that wasn't the case. But this game's beta, however, feels strong. I was seeing things in this game that I was expecting 2042 to have on launch, such as the crazy destruction. That's one of the key pillars of this game. Buildings feel like paper, but in a good way. One grenade launcher shot can pretty much bring more than half of the building down. And if you're in that building, the rubble actually suppresses you for a little bit, and it adds to the immersion. There are some walls that do not really take hits. I'm not sure if that's a bug or it's just that's how some walls are built like. Overall, destruction is really impressive. The classes are basically Assault, Engineer, Support, and Recon. They're all okay, but my problem kind of revolves around a specific class and gunplay, which is the Assault class. It feels boring because the assault rifles in this game aren't really appetizing to use. They're really bad at close range, but then they're really not that good at medium range either. And then when we compare the assault class to the engineer class, there's a night and day difference, especially with the SMGs. They basically have zero recoil and better range than assault rifles. There are some good factors like shotguns. They are pretty good in the game and they have a lot of range. Kind of realistic because that's how shotguns are supposed to be. So shotguns have a lot of range. Then your usual first-person shooters. Moving on to performance and optimization. I wasn't expecting this game to run on my PC at all because I have an old GPU. But surprisingly, I was getting around 30 to 40 FPS on 1080p low settings. And then I was getting around 40 to 51, 55-ish FPS on 720p. So that is pretty playable. But if this game runs this okay on my GPU, which is a 570 4GB, then it can probably run a lot better for the majority. So I was really surprised they really outdid themselves with the optimization here. Vehicles in this game do feel pretty good. Tanks are just like how they're supposed to be. They're scary too, in contrast to 2042's tank, which felt like paper. Looking at the maps, they do tend to get a little boring after the first two matches. And most of the time of my playthrough, the Siege of Cairo map was just repeating and repeating because I guess people really like it. So this game does feel a lot like Battlefield 4/3. I know I've said something similarly like that before with something else, but times have changed. Although I'm not gonna get my hopes up to the sky, it does feel really good, and it's an improvement over the last two games, and hopefully on launch it's a better product. There are some bugs in this game, like sometimes your weapon will not load in and it takes a minute to load in, but that's the only bug I've encountered so far. I have a few hours in the game now, so it runs pretty smoothly, and at least my bullets now register. Looking at you, 2042, I am gonna wait for the launch, but overall, this game does feel like a 7 out of 10, maybe even 8 out of 10. Overall, I do kind of hope that they actually improve the assault class or just improve assault rifles overall. But yeah, that were basically my pros and cons, kind of. Overall, again, it's a pretty good game and a pretty good experience. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. Hope you guys found this video interesting. If you did, consider subscribing. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching and goodbye.